Okay, looks like we're doing 5 megabits per second. 6 kilobits. Cool. Public education. Hello, how's everybody doing this morning? Welcome to the Power Hour. The hour of power. So we had some technical difficulties yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, and today I'm actually actively monitoring what my router's doing, what my ISP's doing. So hopefully we don't have any issues, and if we do, I can figure out where the bottleneck is. But I am streaming at 1080p again, so let me know if it's choppy. I'll switch back to 720. All right, hello Ian, Andre, the channel, Sultan, hello. Okay, I'd like to give me 1 second. What's going on here? What's going on here? Andre, why do you always say BitConnect? Choppy, choppy? What's my router doing? Router's doing okay. Stream looks like it's doing okay. We're going to try this a little bit. If you guys do see chop, please let me know. I only have 2 screens. I need like 4 to really monitor this accurately. All right, so welcome to the Power Hour. We try to get deep in your guys' trading, your thought process, your questions, your very specific, things that are upsetting you. Things that are upsetting you. This is a therapy session. Where's my phone? All right, so Bitcoin overnight. I thought it was going to go back to the top of the channel. It doesn't look like it has that much gusto left in it. We didn't, as you can see this candle here on the daily chart, we didn't get quite up towards here. We've pretty much been stuck down at the lows. If you look at the 15-minute chart, it really looks like we want to break below. Really looks like we're going to want to break, there we go, below this lower channel line. Sooner rather than later. Actually, it looks like a little bit of a head and shoulders. So, if the right shoulder's already in, then there's a big possibility that we're going to continue lower fairly soon. If, like I said, if this is a head and shoulders and it plays out. Let's see, big volume drop. The only thing I'm a little not concerned with, but the volume seems pretty high down here. I'd like the volume to be lower at this moment in time, and it's not. It's actually staying higher. It's actually staying higher, which to me is not a very bearish sign, nor is it a bullish sign. But basically means there's no consensus. When you have lack of volume, like up here, you can see the volume really starts to dry up. You basically have a consensus, meaning that market participants are kind of, not trading, and then the next move generally will break the market in the direction of trend. And this one, as you can see, we broke on higher volume to the downside. Here we broke on higher volume to the upside, but those were single, 1 and 2 pops. Here you can see the sustained downside movement, and then we get to lower volume over here again, 1 little pop to the upside, lower volume, and then on the right side of this chart, either volume's dropping at a very high rate, which would be bad, And we'll see what the next couple of candles bring on this 15-minute chart here. So Crypto asks, do you think Bitcoin is done? Well, again, done is a relative term. I believe that cryptocurrencies are headed lower. Like I've been saying, my downside target is between 36 and 2,400, and that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. So if you guys are looking at any particular altcoin trades you want to take a look at, we know that we had what was moving. What was it? NEM. Yeah, NEM was actually moving yesterday quite nicely. I don't know if anyone took on that NEM trade. I actually posted that in my weekly review on Sunday, and that actually proved to be a pretty good little trade if anyone took it. It looks like it's still going. We had a buy here, a very, very safe buy over the 4,000 Satoshi level. We've still been running up. Hit about a 25% gain. Looks like we're pulling back here a little bit. Nice volume in NEM. We got BNB. Let's take a look at BNB. All right. Thank you, Ted. Thank you very much, sir. Very much appreciated. Whoa, BNB. No wonder everyone's talking about it. Big pop on BNB on the 1 day. Let's go to the 2 hour. Actually, let's go to the 1 day. Let's go to the 1 day and take a look here. We're going to look at the longer term view first. So everyone's looking at the coins that are running. And man, BNB has a history of running, and when it does, it likes to run. Definitely could be the start of something. So on the daily, it looks pretty good. Have a big topping candle. Let's dig down to the 2 hour chart. Digging down to the let's go to the volume. Okay, so the volume, we have definitely a big topping candle here so far. If we break above this kind of 1,11932 level, whatever the close of these two, I'm sorry, the open of this candle, the close of these candles, whatever these are, let's see where those line up with. Okay, so those do line up with prior points of resistance. That makes sense. So far, it looks like we're going to flag out here. If we do dip lower and the volume is decreasing, then if you want to take a position to the long side, I don't see that being extraordinarily risky unless Bitcoin just drops, and then BNB might do the same. Again, keep in mind, guys, Bitcoin kind of leads everything in these markets, and you have to keep all your trades in mind, with Bitcoin. Keep that on your mind as going forward. But a close here over this 11, whatever these two closes are. I hate when you're getting into those 100,000 Satoshis. I don't even know what to say anymore. 115 is what the top of this is, 00115. And over that, hopefully you get some bullishness, but there is history of selling up there, so you do need to be careful. A buy, like I said, in the lower part, if this were to drift lower on lower volume, that would be pretty nice. But I think right now you're basically in wait and see mode on BNB. When you see something break out like this, ladies and gentlemen, you basically want to wait and see what the market does with it. Unless you're really early on this breakout, you don't want to be buying on a huge candle like this, because you're going to end up waiting, and sometimes these pullbacks can be low, slow, and never come back. I mean, let's just take pretty much any pop to this point in time. You see this pop jumped up and just got really low and slow, and then started to fall off again. This one as well, popped to the upside, then proceeded to continue lower. So you never buy the first pop. You always want to wait for a consolidation. Even on something as large as this, I would say, unless you're really early on that breakout. If you had an eye on BNB for whatever reason and kind of had a trend line drawn, or we're looking for a particular level to break and we're watching it, then yeah, I think you go ahead and take that trade. But up here, you never buy in the base. You always want to wait for a breakout of some kind. So you need some time to let this play out. Okay, is everyone here using Bitfinex to short BTC? I use BitMEX to short. I can't use Bitfinex, nor I don't think I ever will use Bitfinex. I mean, we're not, just closing to U.S. customers. Go F yourselves. I think that's a BS move, and so I'm not necessarily a big fan of them. As a trader, do I care about the technology behind a coin or just trade the numbers? So, Andrea, that depends on my time frame. If I'm just looking to, like with BNB here, if I'm just looking to trade this for a pop, I don't care about much. I don't care about anything except for the charts. The reason why I focus on Bitcoin so much is because of the technology behind and also the psychology behind the coin. Those are usually more important factors, especially in cryptocurrencies where nothing really has any intrinsic value, meaning real value. Okay, not too many cryptos have real value that you can actually plot on a chart or kind of get a historical basis from. So it's pretty much all charting. Okay, so we got questions on ADA. Let's do Bittrex. I think they have more history. I can't tell. Okay, so ADA coming down, looking lower. Do you guys have any specific trade setups? Are you looking to get long? Are you guys like the power hour is really supposed to be a power hour, guys? Like specifics. Are you looking to get in? Are you looking to hodl? Are you looking to trade long term? Are you looking to short it? You know, let's really get specifics. Really get specific. So, yeah, Cardano did kind of have a little pop yesterday after I said don't do anything with it. You know, is what it is. Guys, I akin trading to kind of like a game of poker or a game of blackjack. Every new card changes the odds in or out of your favor, and you have to view it as such. And Cardano, kind of like I said a little bit earlier with BNB, had a nice little pop here, although there's nice selling at the top here. So let's go to the 2-hour chart. On the daily, it obviously looks really bad. So the one good thing about Cardano here is all these nice green volume flurries. We don't see a lot of red volume flurries, but this does kind of have a rising wedge or rising channel feel to it. If we go ahead and clone this, actually right there, I didn't even have to really draw it, cloned it and it stuck to it. So this is in a rising channel. These typically resolve to the downside. Rising channels typically by definition resolve to the downside. As far as buying it this morning, I think someone mentioned you bought it this morning. Just bought ADA this morning. So if you bought ADA, you need to have a plan, okay? You need to understand, you know, why did you buy ADA? Let's go through that. Tyler, why did you buy ADA? What's your time frame? Are you expecting it to break out? Are you expecting it? What are you expecting it to do? What's your hypothesis through this trade? Oh, we're getting some flurry buying in Bitcoin here. So 3 to 5 year wait on ADA, is that so your strategy is a 3 to 5 year wait? Then you buy it anywhere. You know, if you have a 3 to 5 year time horizon you're just going to hold, then you can buy here, you can buy anywhere. All right, there's a lot of volume happening over here in Bitcoin right now. On the 15-minute chart, 3 minutes in, we're already equal to the candle's previous volume. But yeah, if you get a 3 to 5 year time horizon, it really doesn't matter. I say you just buy ADA if that's your time horizon. But I think that's a pretty long time horizon. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, 5 years ago was 2013. Nobody was really trading crypto in 2013. So that's like a gargantuan hold in cryptocurrency speak here. Okay, so Andrew's got a pretty nice question here. Being distracted a little bit by Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks like it wants to sell. Looks like it's trying to sell off here. So as we can see, volume's been coming down quite aggressively on Bitcoin here. Basically implying that all this buying volume is drying up. And getting some buying there. Okay, good. I don't have to short it. All right, thoughts on Litecoin this year. I don't have any real thoughts on Litecoin. Litecoin follows Bitcoin. I think it's going to do the same. At some point, Litecoin and Bitcoin should diverge in terms of price, but I don't see that happening yet. XVG for a 6-month to 1 year hodl. Those are tough hodls, ladies and gentlemen, especially in a bear market. It's a little difficult to call hodls of that nature. I didn't want to do that. I want to go back to Bitcoin. I want to keep it on Bitcoin. So if you're talking for months, you want to look at this daily chart. This is where you want to live, ladies and gentlemen. If you're like, I'm going to hodl for a year, you don't need to look at a 2-hour chart. You need to look at a daily chart. You need to look at a weekly chart, although I don't think weeklies will do you much good. So typically what XVG has done here is it's come down, looks like really close to prior bases. So I would maybe expect XVG to get lower, maybe down towards these highs, if history kind of stays true. Now, if you want to take a position here, that's perfectly fine, but I would maybe consider layering in. You know, you never do know when coins can turn up. You never know that. You never ever know when they can turn up, and they don't always have to come and retrace. But the general rule is if you like a coin, basically buy it and start layering into it. Mark's looking to take a long position in XBY. Let me get this back to Bitcoin before I lose my mind. CCEX, I'm assuming Cryptopia. I don't know what exchange you're on. Again, this kind of has a rising channel to it. You typically do not go long rising channels. So while this may look like it's bottoming, this is not a bottoming formation. Okay, this is not bottoming. So while this could be a bottom, it's not a bottoming pattern. Okay, let me just say that. It's not a bottoming pattern. Typically when you have these rising patterns like this, especially if, how do I phrase this? Oh, there we go, paste trend line. So typically a rising channel like this, if it breaks to the upside, that's good. If it breaks to the downside, that's a continuation, which would be more normal. Okay. Should hodl or sell before cryptos tank even more? Well, Justin, that depends on your strategy and your risk tolerance. If you have these, 3 to 5 year time horizons, then you don't care about this year at all. So it just depends on your time horizon. Is Icon good for a long-term hold? Sorry guys, trying to follow up here. Oh, did I miss the super chat? Oh, I missed the super chat. I thought it was another one. Yeah, Ted. Thank you, Ted. All right, Kurt says you want specifics. What could we scalp today? I tend to scalp in Bitcoin, to be quite frank with you, because it tends to trade really well and trend really well. If you want to look at something good to scalp, I would probably go to CoinMarketCap, look at the movers of the day, or one of the top coins that's actually up the most. And like BNB right here up 20%, like we just saw Populous coin up 20%. But the market is generally in a downward direction. You typically want to scalp with the market, or very, very aggressive moves against it. Now BNB coin, like we just saw, that was up 20%, although BNB coin was resting right now, so really not good for a scalp. But if you're looking for scalping, you're just scouring charts, looking for setups. Looking for low volume setups, sideways setups, anything that looks like it could possibly be coming to a change in direction. All right, so that's basically, it's like what I would do if I was looking. So if you're looking for scalp setups, I have favorites on Binance. You could just go through this Binance chart like on this 15-minute time frame, zoom out a little bit, and I've got all these favorites from back in the late December market. So and there's BNB, there's a potential one. CND, nothing happening there. This looks like it could be good. CTR, kind of a sideways level. If we get a pop, if we get a pop maybe above these highs, that could be good for a scalp. You got EDO, possibly a drop in play here with a double bottom, kind of an inverse cup with handle scenario. Maybe that's good for a drop. You can maybe play that. So just kind of go through this exercise, right? So here's a flat area, possibly looking to break up, with a wedge here, possibly looking to break down. You're just looking for some setups basically in both direction. And landed on EOS here, and John Kim says EOS good time to buy. I don't think so. I don't think EOS is a good time to buy here. It just looks pretty weak. Looks like it's just setting up for another downside move here. Do I use log scale in your charts? And in which case, should we use log and in which normal. I do not use log scale. It's just not my cup of tea. That's a personal preference. Whichever you get used to using, do that. There's no right or wrong answer to that question. So Victory Report says, love the power hour. What is the chance of starting at 1 p.m. Rather than 12? What will the cost be? So I've thought about doing 2 power hours actually, one in the morning, one towards the afternoon for the overseas people. The cost so far, looking at $50 a month for the power hour. So every day, 1 hour, $50 a month. That's the cost right now. Watching it drop and saw the extra volume come in, looking to hodl until the end of the year. Got caught up in Neblio. What should I do? So let's take a look at Neblio. Yeah, so Neblio looks like it's rounding over here. I'm not a huge fan at all these rounding patterns. I would typically get out as, yeah, I also have a little head and shoulders here. I would just sell Neblio right here, especially it sounds like it's a short-term trade for you, like you were trying to get long somewhere and it just went against you and you're not happy in the trade. If you don't believe in the coin or don't have a long-term price perspective, I would just sell it. You know, but if you have a plan, stick to the plan. Otherwise, I would just sell it. All right, Crypto here says why. I'm sorry, I'm really backed up in terms of comments here. I'm going to try to breeze through these quickly. If converting BTC to alts, better to go in now. So here's the thing: alts will sell off further if BTC sells off. I do not believe in trading strictly between Bitcoin and alts. I do believe in a fiat position because I don't know. I don't like my money being squashed in either direction, either in Bitcoin or in alts. I don't want my money squashed, so I will just move it into fiat. Now you can move it into Tether if you're okay with that type of risk, but if you're looking to move for safety reasons, you just move into fiat. What exchange do I use to short Bitcoin? I use BitMEX. There's actually an affiliate link in the description if you want to help a brother out. Shows how to short in BitMEX. That's I'm actually going to do a webinar on how to short in BitMEX. A couple people have asked for that right now, and I'm going to make a webinar based on that. A summary of Bitcoin, please. Just arrived. Yeah. So what Bitcoin's been doing. Okay, looks like it's not going to do that for me. Bitcoin has actually been, Bitcoin did not reach the top side of the channel. Okay, there's actually a large channel right here. There's a large channel right here. Bitcoin did not reach to the upside this time. Looks like it's setting up for a downside break. All right, Sean Gray, you're welcome. You're welcome. Says he's been following for a while. Appreciates my efforts. How about a short on Ven? Let's take a look at Ven. A short on Ven right here. Let's take a look at this. So, get rid of this little news article. A short on Ven. Let's take a look at the 15-minute time frame. Actually, this kind of has a cup with handle feel going to it. If you do want a short Ven, you definitely want to make sure you have a stop in place over this high area here. I don't know if I'd be shorting it right now. Maybe wait for it to get a little bit higher, and then if you did want to take a short, you can go ahead and, like I said, have your stop up here. Make sure you definitely have a stop in place. But, yeah, it definitely could be a decent candidate for a short. Could be a decent candidate for a short. This does kind of have history. But as you see here, they kind of had a cup. They kind of went a little higher before it went lower. So you really want to pick your place with these. If you're going to short these, make sure you short when it really looks like buying is drying up. Is Icon good for a long-term hold? Depends on your definition of long-term there, Hassan. Really depends like your definition of long-term. You only lose money when you sell. That's not true, Michael. That's not true. I have several positions in my Roth IRA that I'm down 97% in because I thought that at one point in time. That money's never coming back. AJ asks, are you in cash? I am in cash except for my my money I have in my Bitfinex, which is leverage trading, and basically I'm shorting in that account. Any thoughts on Ethereum? Lots of thoughts on Ethereum. I love Ethereum. Let's look at Ethereum here. And I hope my browser... Sometimes my browser freaks out on me, ladies and gentlemen, when I try to change coins. And it looks like it's doing this again. Lovely. Oh, here we go. Cool. It rendered. Good. All right, so let's go to the 2 hour. Why am I sitting on the 1 minute? Thoughts on Ethereum. This is going to break down. Maybe in line with Bitcoin. I don't know, but... So I had this channel here in Ethereum. It broke down from that. I think I mentioned that in my weekly review. And then it's been setting up here for another breakdown. And it looks like it's going to continue doing that. Ethereum lower. This is looking worse than Bitcoin, to be quite honest with you. Looks like it's already broken down from its channel. Yeah, weak action. Just very weak action on Ethereum. Day trading too risky. I'm personally in for the long run. Too stressful for day trading. Consensus play for Encash? I don't know. I haven't looked at Encash. People talked about it. Apparently some YouTubers been pumping it. I hate those damn YouTubers. They just pump all these coins for no reason. Just to really get you guys in something. What was the question? Consensus play for Encash? So Encash has actually, this looks like a pretty bullish pattern right now. You do need to have an entrance and an exit play. It is consolidating. You don't want to trade within the consolidation unless you have a plan for that. Like if it dips lower and you're comfortable buying, you buy it and then you sell when it gets higher. Like this would have been a decent buy and, you know, a sell up somewhere towards these closing highs. So that's a decent play. Volume, however, is looking pretty good except for that candle. Sometimes I talk while I look, and that's not a good plan for me. So this is actually a big topping candle, another topping candle with high volume. So it's consolidating. Wait to see what it does. There's no play here if you're currently in it. I don't know. I would almost take profits, to be quite frank with you. With Bitcoin and Ethereum look like they're going down. Yeah, unless you know we get a break up, but you need to see higher volume come in. You got to see higher volume step in. We can't go down to the 15-minute to get a closer look. Okay, so that's actually a good candle. That's a good candle right there. I do like that last one, that last 15-minute. That's really nice. Huge volume at the top right there. Big volume at the top right here. Putting in a top. A top has been put in for sure. Okay, looks like we broke that trend line right there, but keep in mind we're in a base, so this may not actually this may not break into all-time highs. This may just mean that the route to the downside is done for the time being. Is the cup with handle on sub legit? Let's take a look. I'm assuming you're talking about this cup with handle. Is that a cup with handle right there on kind of the shorter term time frame? Okay, here we go. So is this a legit cup with handle? So far, it looks pretty good, actually. Looks pretty good for a cup with handle. And I think you asked about entry points. Okay, where's the buy-in point? So your safe buy-in point is going to be right here at the 67.85 level. That's going to be your safe buy-in point on volume. You have to have volume confirming the move to the upside. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if you do see a chart pattern, never buy in the chart pattern, always buy on the breakout. But that would be your typical breakout. If you want to have an early entry point, that's fine as well. Your early entry, this needs to play out a little bit more. But so far, it looks like you could have it 66.45 with a stop here of approximately 3.5% down at 64.18. So that looks like that could be a potential trade. If we get lower, then those moves, those points will move accordingly as well. Definition of a scalp is, so here's the definition of a scalp. If you're looking at, a scalp is a very quick trade for a very quick profit. So here's a nice scalp trade right here, actually. You've got a trend line forming right here, okay? A trend line forming right here, and if you're looking at this, you see volume come in here, and then maybe you buy it right here, and then you sell it at the first point of weakness. Okay, so maybe you're going to sell it right on this candle. So a scalp is a very quick trade. Oh, I'm trying to catch up. Trying to catch up. I'm going to go back to the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I've been trying to catch up. Moving too fast. Any relationships between RSI and volume in trading by your experience? I haven't noticed any correlation with RSI and volume. RSI actually does not take volume into account, so I would say no. Although if anybody wants to work with me on creating that indicator, I actually was thinking about it and would be willing to work with a programmer on that. Will we go under 5,000 and rally back an all-time high 6 to 12 months later? Dylan, I do think we do go below 5,000. I do think we rally towards all-time highs in 6 to 12 months. I actually do think both of those things are correct. Mark says, could an ascending right triangle be in play for BTC so that this means there could not be a lower low? Well, anything's possible. Okay, keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Anything is possible. As a trader, I'm infinitely flexible. I'm infinitely flexible. And Hobbit says, one tip for a beginner, what would that be? Trade really small. Trade with 10% of your account. Trade with 10%, not all at the same time, but trade with 10% of your account. So, I'm not sure. I wish I could mark these as I was going through them. Okay, ascending right triangle in the play for BTC. You talking about this one? This ascending right triangle? I don't see an ascending triangle pretty much anywhere. I see a declining potential thing here, but I don't see a right triangle anywhere. How strong is BTC long-term uptrend line for a bounce? Those are, you know what, I'm not going to spend time trying to draw that trend line. I apologize about that. I had a hard time drawing trend lines off of dates like this, and it just takes up too much time. So, how do you cope with the stress of being a trader? I try to have really good sound trading rules and strategies. I only trade when the odds are greatly in my favor, and I really don't care about the money. What's necessary for a dead cat bounce? A dead cat. A dead cat bounce. What's necessary for a dead cat bounce is a big drop to the downside. You don't get the drop. You don't get the bounce without the drop. How can you measure drop when bear flag forms? So that's a great question. So you can measure a drop when a bear flag forms. Let's go up to the 2-hour chart. So that's a very good question. So what you can do is you can take the top of the move that formed the bear flag like this, okay, and then you can actually move that. And I usually put it at the top of the overall bear flag, and then that gives me my target. Johnny B asks a good question. As always, Johnny B has great questions. Just curious, are there any TAs in crypto you follow, watch, any that you rate, or you do your own analysis and don't listen to noise from other TAs? I pretty much do my own charts. I really don't listen to anyone. So occasionally I'll watch Node Investor. If someone points out a crazy video about someone that someone did, I will watch a couple minutes of that until I'm like, yeah, this is garbage. But I generally just do my own charting. The reason being is because it's my money and I know charting, and Node Investor has a different strategy than I do. Tone, I was looking at a Tone Vase video earlier because everyone keeps talking about Tone Vase. I'm like, what's this guy about? And his weird 9 system, I just don't want to put the time into that. So you have to do your own analysis. You have to live and die by your own analysis, okay? And if you're new to trading, obviously you're going to need a little bit of guidance, and that's what these videos are for, right? That's what the Power Hour is for. It's for that guidance for those traders that don't necessarily have the expertise to do it on their own. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to do here. Look at Litecoin, it's indicated oversold. Am I wrong to expect a move up? Yes. You cannot take an oversold indicator and predict a bounce off of that. It's not a very good indicator of bounce. Pretty much any overbought indicator. I don't even have to look at the chart to tell you that. But I will. Let's look at the chart. So, yeah, in terms of oversold, it doesn't matter. Oversold can stay oversold for quite some time, right? So I think I have... Okay, I don't have an RSI down here. But if you're looking at an RSI, and of course it's going to show up purple. There we go. So oversold can stay oversold. Just like here, you see overbought can stay overbought. If you were buying Litecoin over here like I was at $108, that was a pretty badass trade actually. If you were buying Litecoin here, why would you get in with the RSI on the daily up at 77? Why would you get in that if you're looking at the RSI or MACD or something else as an indicator when, you know, based off of my entry, it proceeded to go up 300%. Okay, but it went 300% on extremely overbought conditions. Things can do the same to the downside and on different time frames. So I'm not sure what time frame you're looking at. But if you guys do want me to look at a chart and you have something specific, please put a time frame in there. It's very helpful, so I can, you know, address your question better. Why do you say below 5K when Mt. Gox court ordered locked his BTC until September? This should move the market upward. Doesn't have to, Norm. It doesn't have to. Market sentiment moves the market. One guy selling doesn't move, you know, doesn't make an uptrend. Okay, if they did lock up his Bitcoin, that's great. Maybe it does give us less catalyst for a downside move, and maybe it does move us upwards. But until I see that in the charts, I can't account for that news. You can't account for anything you don't see in the charts. If you trade off of news alone, you're going to be broke really quick. Nano, please. Only because you put hearts around everything. Bitcoin's moving up off of the lows here. Why am I in my Bitcoin chart? I'm trying to keep a thing in my head where, okay, here we go. There we go, yeah. So Bitcoin moving up a little bit here. I'm going to keep Bitcoin over here, and I'm going to do my altcoins on this screen. Nano Bitcoin here. All right. Ooh, ugly. You don't want to buy that. You don't want to buy that. This is basically dropping. So here's your bounce. Here's your dead cat bounce. Here's your continued sell-off is basically what that is. That's your continued sell-off. Is it possible to form a double bottom at 6K and then head towards all-time highs? Yashu asks. Yes, it is possible. It's highly possible it could do that. I don't know if I want to say highly possible, but it's one of two possibilities. It continues lower or it continues higher. The only thing we can do right now is ascertain price action in the moment, okay? So this is, by definition, a bear flag. By every definition of bear flag, it's a bear flag. Like I said in my last video, I give this a 75 to 80% chance of continuing to the downside. There is no time frame for that, however. We can go up a couple more days and then finally break down. But we most definitely could double bottom. You can double bottom anywhere. We could double bottom anywhere. And really, what's gonna make that happen or not is the volume, the type of movement. Bitcoin likes to die and be reborn on these big spikes. I've noticed that it doesn't really like to form choppy bottoms and then go upward again. It really likes to spike lower and then spike higher. Please put a video on how for beginning trading as a newcomer. That's a long video. I'm actually developing a trading course for new and experienced traders. And, whoa, how did I get so far up? Are you a full-time trader, Sean asked. Yeah, right now I'm a full-time trader. It goes back and forth. I'm not precipitously wealthy. I don't have just tons of money sitting in the bank. I've got a family, wife, and 2 kids. And But yeah, I am full-time trading, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Does the flag itself have anything to do with the drop? The flag is a psychological indicator that the drop is valid and shall continue, is what it is. How will ADA circulating number affect the price? Any idea what it will reach if all goes as planned for Cardano? Not sure, Justin. I'm not sure. The circulating number for ADA, actually, I haven't even done that kind of analysis on it, to be quite frank with you. Let's look at it. So circulating 25 billion. So all this means is that Cardano's never going to be a $1,000 coin. That's all this means. What really matters is the market cap and the percentage gains. Where did I learn to read technical analysis? It's been a long road, my friend. It hasn't been one source. You know, I started trading stocks. Gosh, I don't even know exactly when. I got really fascinated with stocks in the late 90s, you know, watched the 2000 bubble, got a little bit of money in the early 2000s and lost that because I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, it's just been a culmination. But if I were to credit probably two resources, it would be that How to Make Money in Stocks book on my website, How to Make Money in Stocks on my website, that book, and then Dan Zanger has probably been a big inspiration to me, and just his approach to the market of really waiting and biding your time, just waiting. And there's a Jesse Livermore actually has been kind of a big influence to me as well. You mean if the flag is long? So the flag is long on Bitcoin. You know, so there's like a ratio here. I don't know what it is, but usually a bear flag looks like a certain setup and then it continues, right? And this looks like it wants to break soon. This ratio looks normal to me. Like it could continue maybe another day or two before it gets a little long in the tooth. But I've seen some bear flags go kind of long, But yeah, so far it looks pretty normalized. If it does go long, we'll figure out. We'll figure it out there. I don't talk about ICOs. Yeah, I did look at our EOS already, Christina. Not good. I don't care about RSIs. I don't care about MACDs. Not good. The Mt. Gox sales correlated with the drops in BTC. How can you say they are unrelated? I never said they're unrelated crypto. I said they don't matter. I said understanding who sold Bitcoin doesn't matter. That's what I said. I didn't say they were unrelated. I said it didn't matter who sold. Okay, the point is they were sold. It doesn't matter who sold them. And just the fact that the curtain's been unveiled and you have a guy to go to now to blame, right? You're like, I'm going to blame this guy. What good does that do you? That doesn't do you any good. That doesn't affect the charts. The charts don't. You're not going to erase this bar because the Bitcoin guy sold. You're not going to erase this bar. You're not going to erase this bar. It doesn't matter. It quite frankly doesn't matter. What matters is the price action and the overall sentiment of the investing community. All right, Pro Trader, you talk about. Hey guys, this is meant to be for like real trading advice and investment, the Real Crypto Power Hour. We're not going to be talking about BS ICOs. I will block people if you guys are taking advantage of the chat, to be quite frank with you. This is an hour I want to be pointed and valued, and no more ICO talk, to be quite frank with you. We're going to talk about trading, existing coins. That's it. What do I see for ETH, Subaru? I see lower action. We looked at ETH a little bit ago. It's putting in, it's very weak. ETH is very, very weak, which is actually kind of counter to what, Bitcoin's looking weak too, but I guess I have a 15-minute on another screen and a 2-hour on this screen. No wonder, no wonder they look different. Both are rallying right now. Yeah, ETH looks weak though. ETH looks really weak. If for some reason you want to like try to catch a falling knife and catch a bottom, you probably could buy Bitcoin and Ether with a pretty short stop of only a couple percentage if that was a play you wanted to do. But generally I don't Yeah, I don't do that. When the market is bearish, I won't buy long. The market needs to prove to me what it's doing. So far, it's proved bearish. I won't move otherwise. I'm studying for a big test. Stop distracting me. When I hear your notifications, I'm drawn to clicking it. Sorry about that, Jay. Ven is doing something. Not blaming huge amounts of volume does matter. I didn't say the volume doesn't matter, crypto, Top Gun. I didn't say the volume didn't matter. That's not what I said. I said it doesn't matter who's selling. It doesn't matter who's selling. That's what I'm saying. Because you now have a face to the trade doesn't make it more or less valid. It's just another part of the chart. So you can't put too much into this Mt. Gox guy did it. It's like getting into, it's kind of like your aunt dying, and you really loved your aunt, and you don't know how she died. Like, man, I don't know how my aunt died. And then learning that your uncle killed her. Okay? Learning later on that your uncle killed her. Does it really matter? No, it doesn't. Your aunt's still dead. Your aunt is still dead. So it doesn't matter who killed her. Doesn't, the loss is still the same. The feelings are still the same. Nothing matters except for what actually happened. Please, 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 how to learn technical analysis. Well, I'm biased. I'm, a lot of research and a lot of trading with small amounts, a lot of research. And, I'm putting out trading courses. There's other people with trading courses if you want to learn like today. But I'm putting together a fantastic trading course. And I couldn't be prouder of what I'm putting together here. Hold on. Looking at Bitcoin right now on my other screen. Let's pull it up on this screen. Let's go to the 15-minute. I kind of want to short Bitcoin right here. I'll refrain. Okay, why don't traders look at market depth? Because market depth can be manipulated and is not a good indicator of anything. What is a good indicator is actual buy and sells. Actual buy and sells. Which indicators do you look at the most, use when you're making trades, and when do you take the trade at Real Crypto? I will look at RSIs sometimes. I will look at the RSI, but generally I look at price and volume and price action. There's something called price action. It's the action happening in relation to the volume and the price, and that's generally what I do. So I don't use a lot of indicators. I will pull an RSI, and if I see a series of tops with a diverging RSI, that'll get me more interested in a trade from time to time. Yeah, sorry, crypto here. It's just what I came up with, buddy. Sorry about the aunt-uncle analogy, is what it is. Actual buys can be faked too. Only by the exchange. Only by the exchange can they be faked. If you believe that wholeheartedly, then stop trading. Literally, just stop. If possible, you should put short edited preview versions of your Learn Trading course videos online so people can be aware of what you're offering. 2 to 5 minutes would be enough. Yeah, Johnny B, I'm actually going to do a webinar. I'm going to do a webinar about my trading courses. 15 to 30 minutes long. That's going to walk you through everything, because it's not just videos. I'm actually breaking it out so it's easy to reference later on. I've taken a bunch of courses with videos, and I hate skipping through 40-minute long videos trying to find the actual point that I'm trying to get to. I think what people are getting at is Mt. Gox Trustee still has 166,000 Bitcoins left. That means more potential dumps in extreme volatility and no growth in the markets, maybe scaring off new investors too. Well, of course, that's true. That's definitely true, and I address that in my weekly review. We really have to see what the court says. Someone already said the court say he doesn't have to sell. But no, that's a factor. That definitely could be a negative factor, which leads more credence to my 2013 scenario. So by arguing with me, you're proving my point. Johnny B says, by online, I mean on YouTube. Fair enough, Johnny. I will definitely take that into consideration. And probably will do that, actually. I probably will do that. The problem with YouTube videos is that they have a shelf life and then they just go away. Do I use Elliott waves? Nope. Do you think typical stock market will still apply to the crypto market because most crypto traders are less experienced, younger, and more driven by hype and emotion? Some do, some don't. It's a different beast. The same things still apply, but in different ratios, if you will, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. Yes, I agree, Johnny B. I'm sure I'm going to do YouTube videos. I'm going to do webinars. The webinars are going to be up live all the time, by the way. So, will your trading courses be very affordable? Obviously, with your experience, you could ask a premium. At this point, I am pointing at a premium price, basically just because of the vast amount of content. So, I'm going to do it in one of two. Well, I'm thinking of doing it in packages, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to package like 4 and 5 courses together. So far, I have 11 courses. I'm thinking of 12 and 13 in my mind so far. And I'm thinking I'm going to package them in like 3s and 4s for like $100 or the whole thing for like $500. Mt. Gox can't sell until September. It's official. Well, that kind of sucks because to be quite frank with you, my analysis... yeah, that may screw up some charts. We'll find out. We'll find out. I think your idea of the video is for specific portfolio questions, right? Yes. Not sure if this is the point, but for example, I have 3K USD in XRP. Should I sell now or try to sell in a spike? Okay. That's a very good pointing question. Exactly what the power hour is for, which we will be done in about 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So get your questions in for the day. That's a tough one. Ripple may spike. Ripple may spike. We did have a spike here. We did have a spike here. We coincided with this kind of little bottom area, and then we could come down and retest that area, or we could bounce. Now, this is a difficult situation. Let me explain why. Not with Ripple specifically, but with most altcoins. We have never had a Bitcoin bear market with all these altcoins. It's the first time it's ever happened, and we don't 100% know exactly what it's going to do. We don't know what it's going to do. Bitcoin could get to a point where, it gets to 3,000, something like that, and these altcoins just really continue lower and really get towards these prior areas. Like, you maybe could see Ripple at 40 cents, 30 cents, 20 cents. It's a possibility. It's fully possible. Or it could come to the point where they diverge from Bitcoin due to some good Ripple news, and then it kind of bucks the trend. So I lean towards selling because I am risk averse. I like to take risk off of the table. That's my general strategy, is to take risk off of the table. But there's always a chance of a bounce. Depends on how far you're down. If you're down like 70% in this, God, I hate these questions because I would typically be out so much sooner. I generally just cut losses. I generally just cut them. That's my general rule. Okay. Now, if you want to give it, so let's see, if we get down towards here, that's another 15% to the downside. If we kind of get down 10 to 15%, are you comfortable with the 10 to 15% further loss? I would say that. And then it could, there's a potential here for, if you go to the bottom of this candle, looks like another 25% loss. Before it maybe spikes higher. And then either way, this is probably going to do something for a long time, okay? If you're going to be in Ripple, you're going to be stuck here for a long time. If you're going to sell it a bounce, like maybe up to this lower trend line here, then make sure you sell if and when it bounces there. Depending on how much you're down, I would typically cut my loss. I know that was a long answer, but really difficult to sometimes answer those questions. Okay, you're down 25%. I'm thinking in cutting losses, but I'm cool. I have money I can afford to lose. So something else you can do is you can cut a little bit, and then if it bounces, cut some more. You can basically layer out of the trade, if you will. You can do that as well. But overall, I will say I agree with Johnny B here. XRP is a good coin. It's the only viable business in cryptocurrencies. One of the main risks to XRP is that the actual Ripple company isn't even using the coin yet. They're going to be doing that in their phase 2. Right now, big corporations are paying them to use their own Ripple blockchain that doesn't use XRP and use native tokens instead. But they're going to have another product that will use XRP. So, I mean, there is value, I think, in this coin. So you can maybe take that into consideration as well, just depending on your strategy and your risk tolerance. Will you be offering day trading for newbies in your courses? So my courses will take you very, very far, to be quite frank with you. My courses will take you far enough that you can start to understand the market in a very holistic way and tune it to your personality, okay? My course isn't how to trade... Hey, what's up, Paul? Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Volume profiles. Do you mean like the depth chart, like this thing? Is that what you're talking about? But yeah, so my trading courses, I will teach you how to read price action, price volume. I will teach you how to use indicators. I do know how to use that. But what I teach you is how to come up with your own strategy and how to trade for yourself. Because I can teach you my strategy. However, if it doesn't suit your personality type, it will fail for you, and I don't think that is useful. The chart that shows volume at a specific price range. So this is also typically called a depth chart. This is called a depth chart as well. It kind of shows you the depth of the orders, the volume at every price level. I do pull them up. From time to time. I don't actively use them in my trading, however. What I've seen is you'll have what's called a buy wall or a sell wall show up at some point in time. And you'll see like a huge buy wall right here, like a huge buy wall, and then it'll get to that point and the wall will just evaporate. The wall will go away. So it's just another false indicator. The price volume action. Oh, not that. Oh, you mean the horizontal bars? You mean the horizontal bars, like a lot was bought at $2 at 180. Yeah, I don't know what that's called in here. I know in my stock charts, I've seen them in my stock charts. I don't know if I can pull them. What the hell are they called? Monkey bars. They call them monkey bars. Do they have monkey bars in here? It's called volume profile. Okay, I don't have volume profile on here. Yeah, I don't see them on Coinigy here. Is it something on... I generally don't use those. They do have them. Like, let's go to Netflix here. Studies, add study. Come on. What's going... Okay, monkey bars just broke my chart. So I think this is what you're talking about. I tried using this for a little while. I didn't really find a great way. So in other words, like if you take this as a trend line right here, and you know that this middle bar, like I don't exactly know when this broke out, there was obviously a decent amount of volume down here. So I don't know if some of these were put in beforehand, but I really just find price analysis and volume analysis does a much more accurate job than trying to ascertain a different type of a tool. I just really haven't found it very, very useful. What's the most important thing we should take into consideration while analyzing a chart? Um, you're welcome, Paul. Yeah, if you find a good way to use those, I think there may be some value in them. I don't think no one's ever shown me what that is, and I haven't taken the time to really figure it out for myself. So the most important thing you should take while analyzing a chart, and this may be the last question, ladies and gentlemen, coming up to the end of the Real Crypto Power Hour. Some good portfolio questions today. Some good, very specific questions. That was awesome. That's what we're trying to do here. A little less general, a little more specific. A little more specific. The most important thing, it's hard to say one thing. I want to, off the top of my head, I want to say volume. Like, I really just want to say volume. Because keep in mind, what was we were looking at NEM. So NEM recently had a pretty decent day last week. And when you're looking at a chart, really the first thing you want to look at is volume. Like, you have to understand how to read volume. I'm actually in my trading courses, I have an entire course on volume specifically just to show how important it is. I don't want to relate it specifically with price all the time. So no Nifty, that's $50 a month. So it's like, and possibly 2 hours a day if the overseas people want more of it. So it's like $1 an hour, something like that, $2 an hour. But volume really is the number one thing you need to look at. Like, if this didn't have volume, you wouldn't have this move up here. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. We're going to do it again tomorrow between 9 and 10 a.m., I guess, Pacific Standard Time. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys tomorrow.